Blessings and peace to you. This is SB Favor Thinking Podcast, and my name is SB Favor. How are you doing today? It is Thursday, January 6, 2022. Another wonderful day and another day to be thankful. And as I always say, if you focus on what is good, then you can project something good to happen. Jaki Draper is here with me today, and we are on video, and in audio land, you know what we do, people, so just bear with us. But anyway, how you doing, Jaki?
Hello.
How was your day?
I'm doing good. It was a good day. I've been sick since before Christmas. Like Christmas Eve, I started getting sick. I started getting better last weekend, and now I've gotten worse. But I had a pretty good day today. I've been on antibiotics for 2 days now, so I think I'm going to be all right.
Awesome.
Not COVID or anything, just a regular cold, but...
Awesome. You feel better, and that's the key.
Yeah, starting to feel better.
Awesome. We were talking about family relationships earlier today, and we decided to discuss on this episode how to repair estranged family relationships. What do you think about estranged family relationships? People you haven't talked to in a while. We were talking about how you kind of just distance yourself.
Well, I have some experience in that. I have a couple of people that I have a cousin that we've gone in and out of being close and not close, and my mother, which I've talked about before.
Yeah,
she and I have had definitely a strained relationship my entire life. But yeah, I have a little bit of experience in that.
Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes we have to distance ourselves from family members that are toxic and people that sometimes just want to be crazy and don't know how to act. But, we need our family. So we need to repair relationships. I think that the first thing we should do when we're trying to repair a relationship, as you know, we all know, we got to forgive, right? Sometimes we got to put the past, we should put the past behind us. I shouldn't say sometimes, we have to put the past behind us, but sometimes it's difficult. What do you think about that when you're trying to repair a relationship with somebody and you are trying to put the past behind? What do you think about that?
Absolutely. And for me personally, both my situations are areas that I don't know how to explain it, but where it takes forgiveness.
Yes. And
not just forgiveness of the person, but you have to be able to accept them for who they are.
Yes.
They're not, and I guess you could have somebody in your family that's a bad person, and in that case, I guess you just need to distance yourself completely. But in my case, the people that I am dealing with are not bad people. They're good, wonderful, good-hearted people, but for whatever reason, we have our own situations where we butt heads or don't get along or have something that gets in the way. And I know me personally, I take the initiative to make good choices in those relationships and try to make everything good and work out with us. And I'm not saying that I always do that. I definitely have had phases where I'm like, forget this.
Yes.
I don't need this in my life, and I'm trying to walk away, but honestly, I'm very close with my family. There's not anyone in my family that I want to be estranged from, not a soul.
Right. Yeah. I'm pretty much the same, but sometimes, unfortunately, none of us come from a perfect family, right? But sometimes we do have to distance ourselves from family members that are toxic, people that are not working on themselves, people that sometimes just don't know how to act, right? As they say, right? But I think that family is important. And I think that if you have an estranged relationship with anyone in your family and you have to make something right, I think that we as individuals should make an effort to make it right and make it better, because it's important to have harmony in relationships. It's important to forgive, as we mentioned a minute ago, because forgiveness is for the individual, it's for us as individuals. And so even if you have a distant or a strange relationship with somebody, we should make sure that we forgive and also do our part as individuals to extend the olive branch to make the peace so that the relationship can reconcile in some kind of way. It doesn't mean that things have to be the way they were, but you can work toward just having some type of reconciliation, because not speaking to somebody, that's not a good thing, Jackie. That's not a good thing at all. Like, at all, to the point where you see them and you don't even speak to them. I think that's really bad, because some people could be in the same room, family members in the same room, and not speak to each other. I think that's pretty toxic.
Absolutely. And it's not just toxic for yourself and that specific individual.
Yes.
It's toxic for your whole family, because other people are walking on eggshells. Oh, so-and-so is going to be here. How are they going to feel? Maybe we should not invite this person because we don't know what's going to happen. It's not, it's not a good environment for anyone involved.
It's not. I was telling you earlier that I don't have estranged relationships in my family, but I kind of distance myself from different people in my family intentionally. And I do it because that's just me. I like to live a private life. And I was saying to you earlier that some of my family members, they didn't even know my daughter's whole name, because I was so distant with them, right? But like I said, we have to make sure that our relationships are right. We have to make sure that we do the work to have harmony in our relationships. And if we are dealing with a family member where there's a problem, we need to work to reconcile it. We need to work to make it better. I don't think that we should just act like, okay, this relationship is messed up. It's just going to stay like that. I don't care if I don't talk to them the rest of my life. I don't believe in that.
Oh, I don't either. I actually, I've had close friends that I've talked about my issues with, and I was advised to just walk away and eliminate this person out of your life and just pretend they don't exist. And I can't do that. I just can't.
Yeah. It's important to, like I said, reach out, do our part as individuals. I think that if we do our part as individuals, even if that person doesn't talk to you, at least you can say you've done your part. Right?
Right.
And so for those that decide to keep holding grudges and unforgiveness, that's on them, because we have to be responsible as individuals, to do our part when it comes to relationships. We can't make anybody change if they don't want to change, but we can pray for them. We can extend ourselves to them. We can, as individuals, forgive and just do the work for ourselves to make sure that we are not in that toxic space, right?
Well, I think a lot of the problem when you're dealing with family members, you have everyone's dynamic and role in your family is different than your roles in the rest of your life. These are the people who've known you from birth.
Yes.
And a lot of times in family dynamics, you have your role, and the others don't want you to leave that role. You are this person in the family, and and you can be this other completely different person in every other aspect of your life, but these people just want to keep pulling you back to who you were in the past or what have you, and it causes a different type of dynamic, and so it can be difficult to make changes in your relationships with the people that you're closest to.
Yeah,
your parents always see you as their child. They don't see you as their equal a lot of times. Or your cousin sees you as, you might have been known as the troublemaker in the family. Well, you're like, I'm 50 now. I'm not the troublemaker anymore. What the hell?
Right.
It's like, well, stop already, Right. And so you just have different dynamics, and a lot of times your family doesn't want to let you let go of that piece of you. And when you get around them, sometimes you kind of regress into that personality also. It kind of comes out just because that's who you've always been in that dynamic. And so it can be tricky when you're dealing with the people that are your family. When you're dealing with your siblings and your cousins and your parents. grandparents.
That
It
is
can
true.
be a little tricky.
That is true. That is very true. That's why I said, as an individual, if we do the work on ourselves, I always say that we have to do the work on ourselves. When we do the work on ourselves, we don't have to be overly concerned about what they think. But that point you made about their perception, how they see you, when you run into that, I think that as you do the work on yourself, you won't be overly concerned with it, because people are going to always have their own opinions and mindsets about who they think you are, right? And you don't have to be subject to it. And when you are around people that are familiar with you and they think they know you based upon who you are today, you really got to walk in your freedom. You can't walk, in being subject to them, what they think. But like I said earlier, extending the olive branch for the sake of harmony, for the sake of peace, for the sake of love, that family member that you haven't spoken with in a long time, making the peace on your end, on your part, is for you. You know what I'm saying? Because
definitely.
Yeah, and so that's what I was saying. I think that a lot of times people get it twisted and they think that, oh, well, I don't want to extend myself to that person because that's going to make me look weak, or I didn't do nothing to them, they did something to me. Well, it doesn't matter. Sometimes if we be the example that people need, that can be a seed that's dropped for them to change. So it's important for us as individuals to make sure that we make it right with everybody in our life. And if somebody done you wrong, you haven't done nothing to them, then let that person know, hey, I forgive you. Let it go. It doesn't mean you have to have the relationship the way it was before, but it doesn't have to be on bad terms. That's the whole point of what I'm saying. I think that sometimes people make excuses just to keep things bad, and it doesn't have to be that way. I think that if we truly understood the power of forgiveness and the power of just extending ourselves to the next person so that they can change, then I think that people would do better and be in more harmony with one another in relationships. Sometimes people make it about themselves. Well, they did this to me. They did, they keep saying that. But sometimes people have a reason why they say what they say and they do what they do. And if we just kind of squash some things and don't make certain things important as they make them to be, some people, then I think that relationships can be restored, because sometimes people are just dealing with their own issues internally. It's really not even about the person that they hurt. It's about their own hurt that they are dealing with from inside. And what happens is they project that hurt out to others, and sadly they hurt others and they don't even know they're hurting people. They don't even know. And I'm not giving anybody a pass to just hurt people. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that some people do and say things unknowingly because of their own hurt. And then, all of us, as we grow as individuals, sometimes we get to a place, as Oprah say, the aha moment, like, oh, I did that. We all have that moment, right? Where we are awake to something that we've done. And then we are like, wow, I shouldn't have done that. So people that are walking around hurting other people in relationships and family, sometimes they're not even aware that they're hurting other people. And so the ones that are healed, the ones that are free of those things within themselves, those issues, they're the ones that should set the example. And I'm not saying make yourself a doormat. That's not what I'm saying. Because I gotta say that because people get it twisted when you say things like what I'm saying. Extending yourself to somebody that hurt you. It takes a strong person to extend themselves to the same person that hurt them. That's a strong person.
Right.
People that have done me wrong, I can honestly say, people that have done me wrong, they did horrible things to me, but being totally aware that I'm free as an individual, I can go to them and say, it's okay you did what you did because I'm free. It's okay you did. It's okay you said what you said. It's okay that you betrayed me because I'm free. I'm not walking around with this frown on my face, all oppressed. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I said that there is power in forgiveness. There is power in just letting it go when somebody does something to you. If that family member is not speaking to you, keep a smile on your face and say hi anyway. Maybe one day they'll get to a place where they just say to themselves, wow, she's still smiling after I did all those things to her. How does she smile like that? Maybe that person will be the individual that will help them to get free, right?
Certainly.
So, but that's some deep stuff because people are hurting, Jackie. People are hurting. Yeah. You know, I was doing a podcast with Tony yesterday. We were talking about the people that were fighting in the airport. That's a manifestation of hurt, pain, and craziness from within, right? It's not. It's not cool. It's not cool at all. But we all got to do the work. That's what it all comes down to. This YouTube thing, y'all. I'm trying to make this right.
I know. I keep forgetting. I'm looking at you on the screen, and then I'm like, the camera's up there. I got to keep looking up. I probably look like I'm closing my eyes. I have no idea. I don't have my glasses on.
Yeah, so. I'm trying to make it right, and
sorry,
it's gonna
people,
get better.
I'm not looking correct.
Yeah, it's gonna get better. You know why? Because we gonna make it better. That's why.
Yes.
So it's gonna get better. But this is.
I'm so busy looking at the screen. It just feels very strange.
Yeah, but
I'll get used to it.
Yeah, we're going to make it work, In audio land, people, we are doing our first YouTube video, so please bear with us.
Flip over to YouTube and you can see why we're not talking properly today.
Yeah, but it's all good because, everything's a learning experience and everything is about taking in knowledge to...
It'll get better.
Make it better. Yeah. That's right. So, but family relationships... We have to do better. We have to work on ourselves. We have to make sure that we have harmony with people in our family. I believe family is ordained of God. I believe that we don't choose our family. God chooses our family. And because he has ordained the relationship, I think the relationship has a purpose. And
oh, of course.
Yeah. So when you see all that division going on in families, I start thinking about purpose that's being destroyed, and that's not what God wants. That's not what he wants. So if people understood that, that's another thing. People would just work harder to keep their families together. What do you think about that?
Well, when I think about that, I think, what am I supposed to learn from this? I don't think necessarily that discord is a bad thing.
Yes.
I think it can be a good thing, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Mm-hmm. I look at it that, what am I supposed to learn from this? And me personally, I feel like we've talked about purpose in life and stuff. I feel like we come here with a list of things that we need to learn in this lifetime. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we don't know what that list is.
Yes.
But all the experiences that we go through are the things that are helping us get through this list to learn these before we move on to the next level. So when there's discord like that going on, I feel like, okay, what am I supposed to learn from this? I want to make sure that I get out of it. It's worth it. What I'm going through right now, this whatever horrible thing I'm going through, let's make it worth it.
I like that.
Let's get something out of it.
Yeah, I like that a lot because you get to evaluate what you need to grow from too, right? And so that's beautiful. That's beautiful because that's...
Well, a lot of people say, oh, well, I went through this so that, the next relationship or the next thing will be better. Yeah. I think it's even deeper than that. I think that what we're not learning here so that when we're 80, we're going to be perfect beings.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're learning here so that when we're on the next level, we can be more perfect beings.
Absolutely.
That this lesson that I'm learning today is not about how I'm going to deal with people in the next 25 years. It's about how I'm going to deal with things beyond this life even.
Yeah.
My soul is going to take that lesson with it.
Yeah, yeah.
Not a...
I agree. I think that, everything we go through is all about learning, no matter what it is.
Absolutely. Every single thing.
Yeah, but family relationships, I think we have to have and develop a different perception about how to repair our relationships. I think that we need to evaluate what to do to repair our relationships. I don't think we should just walk around and say, I don't care if they never talk to me no more. I have an issue with that. I really do.
Right.
I don't think we should have that type of attitude. And I know that there's some deep pain that people have gone through, divorces and all kinds of childhood traumas and things like that. But I think that if you weigh out why the relationship separated, if you weigh it out, if it's something small, if it's something that can be squashed quickly, if it's something that's not important, then we need to reconcile our relationships. If it's something that can be healed through prayer, seeking counseling, or just talking about it, then we should do that as well. But I don't think that none of us should just develop an attitude of, well, I'm not talking to them no more.
I agree. 100%.
I don't believe in that.
Agree.
I believe that we also should extend grace where grace should be extended, because when we mess up as individuals, we want somebody to extend grace to us. And it doesn't mean, like I said earlier, it doesn't mean you become a doormat. It doesn't mean you let somebody abuse you and just do whatever they want to you and you just keep forgiving them as if you're giving them a pass. No, you forgive them because you don't want to hold any bitterness in your heart. But you can hold them accountable, so much so that they can get to a point where they can acknowledge they're wrong, right? But
right.
We need to do the work for our relationships and our family, and not look at the small things as if they're important, because there's a lot of people not speaking to certain cousins and brothers, sisters, and that is not I said brother or sister, but that is not that's not the thing.
My
that's
mother
not the
and
thing
her
to do.
sister went years not speaking to each other.
Say it again.
Yeah, my mother and her sister went years without speaking to each other. My mother had only one sister. Didn't stop them from going to family functions together, of course, but it caused problems for all of us, for my cousins, and we had a small family. It was my mom and her sister, and and 5 grandchildren. So it wasn't a big family. So, but we still all got together, even though my mom and her sister hated each other sometimes. So, experiencing that.
That's pretty wild.
It can be difficult.
Yeah,
it can be difficult.
Yeah, it can be. But you know what? For that family member that just won't let up at all, and that family member that just really need the Lord, that family member that just really need intervention, sometimes you do have to kind of like love them from a distance and just like,
right.
Leave them alone. But once again.
Well, what do you think? Okay, how about this?
Go ahead.
What do you think in a situation where you're not the one having the conflict, but 2 people you love are, like my mom and my aunt? How do you intervene in something like that? And relationships between siblings are extremely complicated. Very, all kinds of factors involved there. So how would you, as maybe you're even a cousin and you see your 2 cousins who are brother and sister or sister and sister, what have you, are having conflict. how do you get involved? How would you approach a situation like that where you're the one who loves both of the people, and obviously everybody in the family loves each other, but you're trying to bring peace. You're trying to help them reconcile.
Well, first things first, I would never take sides, because
Right.
I've been in situations where I had siblings would call me, and I never take sides with anybody. What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. But to answer your question, I would just love both of them, and whenever I have an opportunity to bring them together, I would be a mediator to show them that they're both important. And I would show them also that I'm not taking sides. And I will, of course, you know me, I'm going to pray. And I would definitely just let them know that they're important and that they have need of each other. Because I think sometimes when you show people that they need each other, they may say, I don't need them. I don't need them, right? But
Right.
you can show people sometimes that they need one another. Do the least of things, especially when it comes to family. If it's something really, really bad, something really painful and hurtful, then I would suggest maintain the peace and keep the distance, from it all. But, when you're in a situation where you can bring people together through humor and events and things like that, that in that type of situation, people can see the love and they can see the need for one another, because families that spend time together and have created memories together. You ever be around a cousin or somebody you haven't seen them in a long time, and you remember all the laughter you had with that person, then all of a sudden you see them, you're just like, man, we used to have so much fun. All that comes back to us when we are not together. So it's those memories like that touches the heart, right? So that person can start thinking like, well, yeah, it's not that bad. You know what I mean? So,
Right. We can get through this.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Right.
Yep. So it's people make things more complicated than what they really are. And it's really not.
Anytime there are feelings involved, people are going to
Yeah. People
make things more complicated. When emotions are involved.
Yeah. Yeah, people make things more complicated than what they are, and it doesn't have to be that serious. Like I said, some things are really deep and painful, and it takes time to recover. It takes time to get over something that really hurt you. I mean, that's real. I would never, ever not acknowledge somebody's pain, but I just think that there are trivial things that I believe that a lot of us can just say, you know what, that's not important. I love you, because I said to you earlier, our being was created to be loved. Being loved is part of our being. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like drinking water. We have to drink water in order to survive. Well, that's what love is. If we're not loved, can you imagine what that would be like? So that's what it's all about. We were created to be loved. And I just think that family is a part of that. Good, bad, or indifferent. I think that God's intention for family was an extension of immediate love. That's what I believe family is when it comes to what God thinks about family. His intention for family was immediate love, because the people that you see first in your life is your family.
Right.
They are the
That's
first.
Where you learn to love. Yeah.
That's right.
They teach you how to love.
They are the first ones you fight with. They are the first ones you see in the morning. They are the first ones that you learn to walk. You learn to eat. You learn to tie your shoe with your sisters, your brothers, your cousins. Right? So, yeah. Yep. Yes, indeed. So, but this topic is something that we wanted to talk about, because I just want to remind people the importance of forgiving family, forgiving and restoring relationships. I think that the holiday season it passed by, and And now that people saw one another they didn't see last year, because remember last year we couldn't see anybody, right?
Yeah.
So this year, people were able to get together, and because of that, I'm sure people had to confront somebody they didn't want to see. But the point I'm making is this: we have to repair our relationships, because God's intention for family was, to me, I believe it is immediate love. Immediate love. That's what God's intention for family is. And so if your family wasn't anybody important, then why were you raised with them? Ask yourself that question, people. Why were you raised with the person that was your mother? Why were you raised? If they're not important, why was you raised with them? And then some people are not raised with their real family. They were raised with another family that was able to love them, right?
Right.
But that's the question,
Absolutely.
so that's the question we need to ask ourselves. Why was I raised with this family? Why is this my family? You know why? Because there's a reason why. And we can't act like it's not a reason. It's not a purpose. It is a purpose. So this whole YouTube thing, I gotta get used to this, sitting in a chair and just, I'm used to walking around really, and I talk with my hands sometimes, and gotta get used to this. So anyway, but Audio Land, can't forget about Audio Land, people. Those of you that are listening to us on Spotify, Amazon, Audible, and all those places, come on over to YouTube, because now you can see our faces. And so
Hi.
we're going to be doing this often. And we are still going to be on Spotify and Apple and all those beautiful places too. So, so is there anything else you want to talk about, Jackie, pertaining to this topic?
I don't think so. I think we're good.
Yeah. Just to sum it all up, we just want to remind you listeners to extend that olive branch. When I say extend the olive branch, I'm talking about extend the peace to that loved one. Keep the harmony, and don't forget that your family is important. God's intention of family is immediate love. And we cannot forget that family is important. And if it's not anything worth severing the relationship, just let it go. Forgive and be empowered again. Because holding on to grudges and keeping your family divided, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Love is more powerful. And when we cleave to love, then we have more to give. So, on that note, you have anything else you want to share, Jackie?
Nope.
Nothing else? Okay. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in to SB Favor Thinking Podcast. And as I mentioned to you earlier, we are here on YouTube with our faces now, and we are adjusting to this stuff. So, but thank you for listening to SB Favor Thinking Podcast. Listeners, if you need to reach me, you can reach me at sbfavor@yahoo.com via email. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at sbfavor. I also have a TikTok handle at sbfavor. And of course, as you can see, we are right here on YouTube. Please click like, share this podcast with others. And make sure you click the bell so that you can receive a notification each time there is a new episode of SB Favor Thinking Podcast. And if you would like to donate to the podcast, you can donate at Cash App, $SB Favor. Thank you so much, and you have a good day.